Mr. Font, oh, excuse me, Miss Fontenrose. Sorry, these glasses I gotta adjust. There was minimal response to Iran's attack on Israel earlier this year. Do you believe that Iran has been deterred from launching another attack?
Mr. Chairman, I absolutely do not. I think that first attack was a test of Israel's air defenses and a test of the network that the U.S. has put in place to help defend Israel and other partners in the region. I think we're definitely looking at a round two of some sort once Iran reassesses, checks the reliability of its weapon stockpiles, since many of them failed during that attack, and they may choose to operate in another way. We could see attacks elsewhere globally. It may not be the same kind of attack, but this is not over.
The economics of that attack were, it was basically sending a quarter over the border and then firing a $10 bill at them. Is that about your assumption of that?
The proportion is probably even worse, to be honest.
Probably worse. Yeah, that's what I thought. Is there a direct correlation, ma'am, between the attacks on Israel and the Biden-Harris administration's lack of oil sanctions enforcement on Iran?
It is understood that the funds that Iran receives from oil transactions are fungible and are often redirected to the IRGC, which does put these funds into attack operations and into funding proxies and arming them with additional weapons.
All right. Mr. Abrams, what role is Iran playing in arming the Houthis?
It's fundamental, Mr. Chairman. They don't have the ability to create any kind of advanced weaponry. For example, ballistic missiles. So it's not true that they could do nothing without Iranian help, but without Iranian money, training, know-how, and actual weaponry, the threat from the Houthis would be minimal.
All right, they're just in those John boats running around chasing big boats, basically. Yep. 22 rifles, and they've armed them with modern warfare. The Houthis have already attacked Israel, as you know. You think they'll try to do so again?
Yes. The Israelis struck back at Hodeidah, the port, and there's at least some hope that that was a strong enough response to teach the Houthis a lesson. But I think in the passage of time, they'll do it. What concerns me also is they're attacking us, and we have not responded as sharply as the Israelis have.
Okay. How should the U.S. change our policy, put an end to the threat that the Houthis pose?
I'm not sure we can put an end to it in the sense of absolutely nothing else. But above all, I think this wouldn't be happening without Iran. We let the Iranians get away with this without paying a price. To me, that's critical. Iran has to pay a price. If a Houthi missile hits, as Kirsten Fontenrose said, hits an American destroyer and kills Americans, that's because the Iranians gave them that missile. I think we need to make it clear to the Iranians right now, if that ever happens, and we hope and pray it doesn't, the response will be against Iran.
What would that look like?
Well, you have a wide range, but if an American ship is hit, you can go from something like hitting, depending on how much damage is on buoys off the coast of Iran. You could hit an Iranian ship. You could hit an Iranian naval base. I mean, there's a wide spectrum, and I think we should be letting the Iranians know right now that will be the response.
What threat do they pose in the next few years if we do not successfully put an end to their actions?
They have the ability over the next few years to build a nuclear weapon. That presumably emboldens them. So with their network of proxies, it's a greater threat to Jordan, which right now they're trying to subvert. It's a greater threat to Israel through the West Bank. It's a greater threat to our allies in the Gulf. And it's a greater threat to the U.S. Navy and to international commerce. It's only going to grow as their oil revenue grows and they get bolder.
Okay, thank you. I've got 20 seconds left, and I'm going to yield that time to my good friend Brad Sherman from California.